And welcome to Jack Dodsons Racing Insider News with Scott Allen. Sorry for the inconvenience. Had a little computer issue, but
it wasn't my fault.
The tech got it back right like it's supposed to be. So anyway, we're back where we're supposed to be for right now. Good weekend at Richmond.
It was a great race. I mean, I was glad to see Kurt Busch win. I mean, for his sake, this should be his third win.
Yeah, I agree.
But I was glad to see him, and honestly, dominate the race. I really thought the surprise to me was the 51 ran well, and where was Denny Hamlin? He put on a clinic on Friday night, and then he was nowhere to be. I think he was 2 laps down.
He was 2 laps down at the end of the race. They made the comment about that.
From 8.
All right, hold on just 1 minute. We'll get back to the Richmond race, but we have our first guest.
Say answer.
Hello, Kyle. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right. Joining us now on the show is Kyle Benjamin, a K&N East driver, ARCA driver. What else have you done?
Bandos.
Pretty much just the K&N ARCA, late models, and all that stuff.
So you've done a little bit of everything, haven't you?
Yeah, just a lot of stuff up through the rankings and stuff like that.
Well, tell us a little bit how you got started in racing and bring us up to date for the people around here that don't know who Kyle Benjamin is.
Well, I started pretty early. My dad's been a big part of it. My parents have really helped out a lot. My whole family really put a big effort in helping me get up to the top. And, we pretty much made progress all the way up through the rankings and into K&N. And we just got our first win at Bristol, which is pretty cool for the whole entire team.
Congratulations on that, too.
Yeah, that's got to be huge.
Thank you.
Now, are you still part of the Roush development program?
Yeah, it's still part of the Roush development zone. It's really cool to be a part of that, too, because you get to see how bigger teams work and really learn from them and how things are going to be later on.
Now, what do you get when you're a development driver? Because some people have the perception once you're signed as a development driver that you just pretty much got a ride, you got a paycheck, and everything else is just your hopes are all said and done. But that's really not the case.
No, not at all. The weight's definitely not off your shoulders. You still got to perform. It's not a done deal. You still have to go out and win races and make a name for yourself, but it just helps you pretty much. It helps you get up in the team and kind of get to know people.
Now, do you get any technical support or anything like that from those guys?
I'm sorry?
Do you get any technical support from those guys so far to help you in the K&N and stuff?
We get a little bit of support. We do a lot of it ourselves, though. I see once we start running better and getting points like we did this past weekend, that we'll get more support from them.
Now, who are you driving for in the K&N car?
We're just driving for our own family.
Okay.
Everyone's worked really hard. We put together a really fast car.
Yeah, I would say for a family operation, that's pretty good. Especially, Bristol. How big was it to win at Bristol? I just love going to see the place, but Bristol is like one of the jewels of like short track racing where we all sort of started and got from it. I can imagine like winning there would be like Martinsville for us.
Yeah.
It really would be. Well, Bristol is just a really unique track, and it's really cool to run there. And it's hard to pull off a win like we did on tracks like that against Scott teams, big teams like them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really cool that this family-owned team can go to the front like we did.
Yeah, that's a big accomplishment, and congratulations on that.
So you're gonna be running the whole series. Are you gonna be doing any more ARCA races or anything like that?
We got one ARCA race this year at Pocono and a Venturini car.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good competitive car there.
Those are definitely good cars to be in for sure.
Now you've not done this. Is the first time you've done the K&N series, right?
I think so.
We ran a little bit last year. I think this was our 7th race, I think, or 6th. We did like 4 races last year, and then we did defeat this year.
Now, out of the places you've been, of course, we know Bristol's probably your favorite now that you done won there.
Right.
But where are some of the places that where was some of the places that you're looking at now that you can't wait to get to see how things go with the K&N car?
We were really fast ever last year. That was a really good track for us. It's kind of similar to Bristol. It's just a little bit bigger. Got a lot of banking and it puts a lot of load on the car. And our package that we have for this track can work really good. That's what I really look forward to this year. And also Iowa, which is our next one. We ran really well last year there, and I think we'll have a good car this year too.
Now you're running the whole schedule?
Yeah, whole schedule.
So then, when you come to Langley, we'll have to come over and introduce ourselves because that's kind of our home track here at Langley Speedway.
I'm really looking forward to Langley. That seems like a really cool track. I've looked at some pictures of it. I think we should have a good car there too.
Yeah, it's one of those places you've got to really take it easy getting in the corner. You can really overdrive the car getting in the corner. It's definitely a finesse to it to an extent. So what got you started in the racing? Did your dad drive or a family member, or you just one day wanted to go racing?
I actually don't remember because I started at 5. That's pretty young. I think my dad got me into it maybe, but I know I loved it as soon as I got the car. It was always a lot of fun. My favorite thing to do.
But your dad didn't drive or anything?
No, he never drove.
So then, what was your car number coming up?
For the majority of my career, it was 71.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
It's actually 27 now. 71 was taken in the K&N series.
So what's the significance of the 71? What gave you that? Where did that number come from? Is that Dave Marcus?
The 27?
No, the 71.
71. That was actually my parents were born in 1971, so we chose that one. It's kind of cool.
Wait a minute now. Your parents were born in 1971?
Yeah.
Okay. You just made me really old real fast.
He didn't make you were already old.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
That's okay. I was just joking. Do you do any of the iRacing and stuff like that to get yourself familiar with some of these places?
I do a little bit of that. Pretty much the biggest deal on iRacing is really when you go to the road courses because it really helps you get familiar. Like I know we go to Watkins Glen this year. You go on iRacing and go learn what it's going to look like and where all the turns are at. 'Cause that's the biggest thing road racing. We haven't been to a place. It's really just learning the track. It takes the whole track to learn where shifting points are, where you go on the brakes. There's so many corners you got to get down, and then you work on the car.
So with the iRacing, do you get a feel for the gear shifting, or is it just sort of familiarizing yourself with the track itself?
Just pretty much familiarizing yourself with the track. That's the biggest part of it. I've done one road race, so I'm still a rookie on a road course, and I'm still trying to learn everything I can. So any little bit of information or doing iRacing helps.
So how many people do you have on your team there?
We have 5 people on our team, and we have some extra people that come to the track and help us on the weekend, and we couldn't do it without them because you need so many people when you go to the track to do one of these K&N races. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So who's the crew chief? Is your dad the crew chief?
No, our crew chief is Kevin Reed. He actually crew chief in the ARCA stuff too, and we kind of brought him over to the K&N side. He's extremely good. We always had fast cars running ARCA, and I like working with him a lot.
So do you get into the setup part of the car, or do you just more try to give feedback to the crew chief?
I get feedback to him, and he'll let me know what he does to the car. I don't really tell him what to do to the car. He'll do it himself, but he'll let me know. So, like, he makes this track car change, and it helps the gears. And when we go somewhere else, and I know that track car change is going to help exactly what I'm feeling off the corner gear, so I can just call that and kind of suggest it to him. But usually he'll make the overall decision.
All right, well, we appreciate your time tonight, Kyle. We got behind on the things here tonight with our computer, but we appreciate your time. Good luck to you, and hopefully we'll see you at Langley, and we can come out and have a talk with you and introduce ourselves.
Yeah, and thank any sponsors that you'd like to thank.
Yeah, thank any of your sponsors that you got.
Actually, we don't have any sponsors. We have people helping though. We have iBox Springs, and then pretty much everyone on our team, my dad and all my grandparents, to help pitch in to make stuff happen. Hopefully, we get a sponsor soon though.
All right. Well, we hope so too. And a win at Bristol should help you get something along the way.
Really.
I hope so.
All right. All right, Kyle. Thanks a lot, and we appreciate it. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Thank you. There would have been just a couple races in and a family-owned team to
win a race. I mean, that's
well, to win a race and then win at Bristol. I mean, and those guys are racing with a K&N class. I mean, there's some top-notch teams to go up against those guys with a new team.
Kyle Busch Motorsports. I mean, some of those guys are just.
I mean, you got Kondovic. I mean, those guys have got great tools and equipment over there. Man, I mean, Rev Racing.
Well, let's go back to talking about Richmond real quick before we get to our next one caller here. We saw the Richmond races up there, and we saw some good stuff going on. But how about Chase Elliott?
He did a good job.
And I talked to the guys after the race. I talked to Pete Wright, and I talked to Jason Reiner, who we had on the show last week, the spotter. They were really, really excited about the fact that he kept a clean car.
Yeah, I don't think I had a scratch on it, though.
Did not have a scratch on it. They kept a clean car. He had no real serious issues during the race. I think they had one coming into pit road. They had a little problem there, but other than that, they ran and progressively got better and better as the day went along.
Yeah, they did. They had a really good long run car because on that one good stretch through the middle of the race, I mean, he got up into the top. I think he was running 8th or so, 7th or 8th there.
And he passed Jeff. He passed Jeff Gordon at one point in that race, which was, I know that had to be a big thing for him to pass him.
Sure.
But I've heard the guys talking about the fact that Chase leans on Jeff a lot during race weekend. And I heard him talk about on the scanner. You heard him say, "Remember what Jeff told you about this. Remember what Jeff told you about that." And then to go out there and pass him on the track, that had to, I'd have to be a little excited about that.
Oh, sure. But I mean, how cool is it to have Jeff Gordon give you pointers and you're going to take his car over? I mean, there's some big shoes to fill. I mean, even though his foot's very small, but there's just some big shoes to fill. I mean, Jeff has been a great asset to NASCAR and obviously has accomplished a whole lot.
You got that right. And
it is a class act. I remember they were. A long time ago, they were talking about the PR side of it and how good Jeff was with that. And they had a skit where they had to do something for TV, and everybody came up to do the skit. Well, it took them 10 times to get it right. And they were like, we'll see how a professional does it. Well, Jeff comes over in the first try. He's like, they like say this, this, and this. And he's like, oh, they're good? Yeah, okay. He would just get it the first time, but everybody else is like you and I, we just
well, it was interesting to be around there this weekend to see some of the things that were going on, to see that new team come in. I mean, he's got the all-star team pretty much in his operation right there with Kenny Francis as the crew chief and Lance McGrew and Pete Wright and some of the people he's got. I mean, they put some of the lead engineers from Hendrick Motorsports on that program too. And it is, I mean, they've got something going on there that.
And there's no reason he shouldn't have ran well. I mean, he's ran there before. It's not like when he went to Martinsville. He had never been to Martinsville. And they did a good job. Denny put on a clinic on Friday night. I mean, he led 248 laps of 250. I mean, he just flat took him to the.
And it seems like I've asked the question before of how, when you run the Friday night race, or in this case the Friday night race before the Saturday race, how much can you pull over there? Well, obviously, in that situation, they didn't pull a lot because he was out to lunch on Sunday, which but he was not very good on Sunday. But Kurt Busch. I kept waiting for the last 50 laps. I was waiting for the caution flag to come out because I knew something had to happen. And, I mean, that's just the way Kurt's luck was. But I'm going to tell you something.
I'll tell you what, since him and Tony, the old man as they call him, have gotten together those last, 4 to 8, I forget how many races they ran last year together. Those guys have just meshed very well. And I think the old man is a good asset for Kurt because I don't think he's influenced by him, and he can get on Kurt and keep him together, per se, instead of losing his and Kurt's done a good job with a lot of the last couple of years.
The thing about it, they said last year was that Kurt was with Daniel Knost at the beginning of the year last year. Daniel Knost was a brand new crew chief, just coming from being an engineer to a crew chief.
Right.
And Kurt, I think, kind of run roughshod over him a little bit.
Well, I'm sure. Who are you going to question? Kurt.
That didn't work. Then I heard the comment made. They put Tony Gibson over there with him, and the word was, he ain't worried about Kurt Busch, and if Kurt wants to jump up in his face, he'll knock him out. He's not going to worry about how Kurt. He doesn't look at Kurt as being a prima donna.
Right.
That probably Daniel Knost was. Hey, I can't say a whole lot to him.
Right. Well, being new, but Tony's been around a long time. He's got nothing to prove to nobody.
And I tell you,
I think it's a great marriage for those guys.
I think it was a great situation all the way around, and I was happy that he won the race. I wasn't a big, huge Kurt Busch fan, but I've been around him a little bit with my son working for him when he was with Phoenix, and I saw him. There's two different Tonys. Two different Kurts.
Yeah, there is.
So
he's a hell of a guy away from the racetrack.
Oh, he is very loyal to his people. He, I've seen text messages that he's sent my son. That hey man, how's it going? I love you guys. Thanks for everything you've ever done. It's like that every so often from him. Mm-hmm. And then you hear all the bad stuff, and then you don't know.
And the bad stuff it
gets more publicity. It gets more publicity.
But what about Stewart? Stewart Haas Racing. Honestly, those two. Well, you say half of them. Kevin and Kurt have finished 1-2 several times. They've sat on the front row of several races. These guys are going to be contenders when it comes down to the chase. If the wheels don't fall off, those guys are going to continue to progress.
They're going to be strong all year long. I really would like to see Tony Stewart
run better.
Maybe be a little bit better. Danica's Danica. I'm not going to pull an Al Pierce and say Danica. But the thing is,
she's done better.
She's had her moments.
I think she's ran better this year, and I think it could be contributed to the engineer talk more of her language compared to the old man.
Yeah, that could be. They were a little bit better.
Tony, I think he's just having that. I can't say this year. The last 3 years has just been tough for him.
And there's a lot of rumors swirling. We won't go into that, but a lot of rumors are swirling about Tony and what his future is and everything. And I don't think. I think he may do some things differently maybe next year. I don't know, but I hope he does get himself back together and move in a new direction.
And let's talk about the fire. I don't think they've figured out what caused that fire on the 62 car. Mm-hmm. Most of the time it happens when they take off, when they hit a lug nut and it scrapes and sparks and catches fire. But this was not. The car was jacked up and he was gassing the car and it just went up in flames. And that's why the rear tire changer, he got the blunt of it because he was down there changing the tire. So I don't know if maybe it would have sparked from hitting the lug nuts and the fuel fumes or what have you, but
they're not sure.
I haven't really heard. I know two of the guys are okay, and
two of the guys are out and they went home. Anthony O'Brien is the guy who was the worst. He's the one that took the worst. Mm-hmm. He supposedly he's got some pretty severe burns on him. Luckily, he had all the protective equipment on.
Yes,
but he did get some burns, and they put him in the hospital, thinking that the possibility because of all the smoke and flames and everything he had.
Yeah, he had to take that in.
He could have his throat could close up on him, so they put the tube down his throat to keep him with some air and everything. And I understand that he's doing a lot better. The last I heard, he was still at the hospital in Richmond. So,
So hopefully he gets better.
I hope so, because I met matter of fact, I had Anthony on the other show we did. I had Anthony on that show, and he's a young guy. He's been around to a couple different teams, but I mean he's a right good tire changer. So, and he's part of the Childress. I mean I think he even does one of the cup. He's involved with one of the cup cars.
Is that right?
So.
Yeah, so hopefully he gets a speedy recovery.
So.
But I did hear that they're going to try to, in the back of the pit boxes, bring the fans away from them a little bit to give more room just in case those things happen. They're talking about there's supposed to be some big meetings in NASCAR, I think, this week. I think Monday or Tuesday about that because they, when the fire happened, there were so many people around the pit box, and they were trying, it was hard to get anything done with the amount of people around there. And then, there was some talk on Sunday that Tommy Baldwin Racing may merge with BK Racing.
I understand that's pretty much a done deal, pending some approvals that have to be made. But
because
Tommy Baldwin is a Chevrolet team.
Yeah,
BK is a Toyota team.
Deal with Richard Childress.
Right.
I think they run Childress. I don't know if they're running Childress because I know when they had the two teams,
they run Childress Motors. They run Childress Motors, well, the Childress, Earnhardt Childress Motors, whatever you want to call them. They run them most of the time. I understand they get a Hendrick engine on the super speedways.
Oh, really?
And I got that from Tommy Baldwin himself. They do that's on super speedways.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that.
But anyway, well, they say that's pretty much a done deal. Now, how all that'll play out with. I understand it'll be a Toyota. They'll be switching to Toyota. Tommy Baldwin's group will be switching, which won't be Tommy Baldwin anymore. And Tommy will become the director of competition for the.
I think that's a great opportunity for Ron Devine and those guys over there, BK Racing, to bring somebody like Tommy Baldwin in that has worked for some of the big teams and has done very well. And even having his own team, he's done very well with the amount of resources that he's had. And he should be, it's a great accomplishment for what he has done. Should be proud of what he's done. I think
Ron Devine is, I met him this weekend up close and personal for the first time. But I mean, he's a great guy. I think they got things going the way they wanted at BK. Mm-hmm. So hey, maybe
they
pull this guy in here and
I think it could elevate their team. And
Alex,
they need a little bit of help.
And Alex Baldwin drove for BK last year.
Right.
So, that they're pretty much aware of him. Now, where all that falls out with the 4-team thing, I'm not really sure where there may be how it'll work out. I don't know.
Yeah, we could say our buddy Guido there, Matt Benedetto. I can never say his name. In the beginning, it was just supposed to be a few races and didn't know if they were going to. Now that team is going to be full-time, and he is going to drive it for the rest of the season. So congratulations to him. I mean, that's
he's pretty much in the points where right now he's not having to worry about the.
He's done a good job.
So he's.
He really has. He had a really good job. I think has been the best of those teams for the last few weeks anime. Yeah. I don't know who the crew chief is on his car.
I'm not sure either. I'm not sure either.
But he's done a good job, and congratulations to him of being full time. You always see his dad walking around in the garage. Yeah. He looks just like him. Yeah, you can't not.
I've seen Matt's dad from the time Matt was this high winning mini stock races at Hickory. I mean, he really, he's not changed a lot. No. Now Guido has.
Ran into Greg Galding and those guys, and they couldn't tell me a whole lot, but those guys, he says they're going to run 7 cup races next year.
Still not sure exactly who for.
Right.
I mean, I have my sources of who it is, but I don't
want to say?
No.
They did say that they had signed with Toyota. So
So now you're pretty much in a limited situation.
Right. So they can't be but maybe it'd be BK Racing, who knows? But no. But they are with Toyota. They did sign another 5-year deal with Krispy Kreme, from my understanding. But he said that, which was kind of a shocker, that they were going to do, he'll be 18 next year, that he's going to do 7 cup races next year. And I was like, well, we're not going to announce it until the fall sometime or the middle to the end of the season. So kind of curious to where those chips are going to fall.
Yeah, I don't know where he's going. I've heard, but I'm not going to say that's where he is or not, because the person that told me, you don't know exactly what could happen between now and then. But
yeah, there's lots of parts and pieces.
And how about the thing we went into this week with another driver change basically taking place? Eric Jones is going to go into the 18. After Talladega.
Yeah, until Kyle comes back.
Until Kyle comes back. David Reagan is going to move to the 55 and finish the year in the 55. Where that leaves Brian Vickers, we don't know yet. And don't know when he'd be able to come back anyway right now. So, that's either.
Now, I know we've kind of talked about this personally about Michael Waltrip Racing, about their future.
It don't look good. The future don't look good, and I'm, I'm pretty close to a lot of the guys over at Michael Waltrip Racing. I mean, I'm not, like
physically close.
I'm just saying I know them. I talk to them. I hang around with them in the garage. I think they're all kind of worried too. Back with one of the guys that I talked to, he says we don't know what's going to happen next year. And then all the little rumors that you and I heard up there this weekend about changes that may be coming. And we won't go into that till later in the year, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, we understand there's not going to be much left there.
There's going to be some major changes. And maybe, even though I heard differently somewhere along the line, that may be where your Toyota team comes from. I mean, you never can tell. So that's be interesting to see. Let's go ahead and get Buddy on here while it's time for him. Told him I'd give him a call, and then we'll come back to Richmond Racing, and I want to talk to you about Reno Racing. Wasn't that fun?
I'll tell you what, it was fun to watch, man. I'm telling you, it was. And Ricky was running around there kind of mad, but I was like, dude, that was like probably one of the best innings you could have had, other than somebody getting into it with one of the cops and having to shut everything down. We ain't gonna go there.
Hello?
Buddy Isles Jr., how you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm doing good. This is Jack Dodson, got Scott Allen, and we've got Buddy Isles Jr. on the line. And Buddy, one of the things I remember, I know your dad, I've met your dad several times, remember him racing, and I remember seeing you race a few times. Where did you get started, and what all have you been doing in your racing career along the way?
I got started back in 2005. Was my first year. Started in pure stock V8 at Clary Speedway. And I was 15 then. I'm 25 now. I'll be 26 this year. Started then and got one of my first 2 races that year in pure stock V8, and we raced for a few years in that, and when I actually moved up in 6th Street and raced with my dad some then, and since then I raced late models on asphalt for a year at Southern National, and I've run limited late models and super late models on dirt. Really all over. I've been to 20 different tracks up and down the East Coast on dirt, and then been very successful. Probably won I don't have 75, 80 races so far.
And your dad was quite an accomplished dirt racer back in the day at Clary's or Brinkleyville, whatever you want to call it. I know when I used to go down there every weekend thereabout, it was called Brinkleyville, but he was quite an accomplished racer and everything. What was it like to race against him? I mean, he was really good in his time too.
Yes, sir. Yes, yeah. He always told me if I ever outrun him that he was going to quit, and I've run him a few times, and I haven't raced with him, but one time actually like door-to-door racing with him. Other than that, I've usually was out front, and he finished second or third or so. And he raced with me, and he he's not been in the car in probably 4 or 5 years now. Since I've been doing so successful, he hasn't got back in it. He says he is, but he ain't done nothing yet, and he still got his car. He keeps saying he's going to take mine out, change the seat in it. I work up here in Ohio, but I ain't going to let him do that.
Well, that had to be pretty fun to race your dad door to door for a few laps. I mean, that has to be pretty fun.
Yeah. I wish we could do it some more. I mean, he's 64 now. I mean, he could probably still be pretty good, but he's told me, I don't know how you do what you do now. I mean, we run so good, especially at Clary's and some of the other places. We usually finish top 3, and even at Clary's, I think I've won about 22 races in the last 2 years, and finished second or third 2 or 3 times, and we only lost maybe 5 races in 2 years there. He's happy with it.
Now, he is pretty much running Clary's, right? I mean, he's doing a lot of stuff.
Well, he has. He's not actually running it. He's somewhat of the. He's in the lines of promoter to an extent. He offered to help him again this year, and he's helping him a lot. Just get the track ready and prep and a lot of labor and all that, because he likes it a lot. And he does mechanic work, and he just likes to get away from the shop, and he's been doing that so long. But he's just helping with the labor side of it, pretty much.
Now, I'm gonna run some names by you. I was doing this today at home before I came down here to the show, and I was thinking about you, and I was thinking about your dad and the old Brinkleville. So I'm gonna run some names by you, and you tell me if you remember them or anything you remember about them. How about Spec Edwards?
Don't remember him at all. I've raced a few races within memory of Spec.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard a lot of stories about it. I've seen some of his cars at the racetrack, and met some of his family, and they said he was a pretty awesome driver. I never got a chance to actually meet him though. But yeah, he was a good guy from what I heard.
Yeah. All right. Now here's one, Mike Sharon.
Yeah, Mike Sharon. I didn't never meet him, but actually, Mike, the girl I'm dating now, her grandparents used to sponsor Mike. They were actually the ones behind Mike when they would run it so good. And they talk about it all the time, how they run so good with him. And they say he was a really good driver. Him and Mark Clay and Mike Stick too, and all of them guys used to race together, and they had a lot of battles back then. I never got a chance to meet him either.
Well, now that you went and got my next name already, you've already brought it up, and I was thinking about Monk Clary.
Yes, but yeah, I met Monk a lot. Talked to him a lot. I like Monk a lot. He was a good guy. Him and my dad's pretty close too. That's why my dad got into the racetrack. Him and Monk said, "Hey, I want you to run it. Come run it." And that's what happened the last 2 or 3 years. Man, they say he was an awesome driver too. Even JC, I'm pretty good friends with JC too. They got a nice operation now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the big guys.
Well, I used to run, get tires for the old Southampton Speedway when it was dirt. I had a deal with Victor Story. I don't know if you remember that name.
No.
All right. Well, I had a deal with Victor Story, and I'd go get tires, and every week I had to stop at Monk Clary's and drop off tires for Monk, and he would tell me some stories. I mean, he was a cool guy. I really liked him.
Yeah. I like talking to people like that. They can tell you about the past and all. That's what I enjoy about talking to anybody like that, just to be able to hear about the old times and racing back in the days and all.
Now you're up in Ohio working for ThorSport, and how did that come about? How did you get hooked up with ThorSport?
Well, I owned my own shop for 4 or 5 years, and I was trying to get away from that and try something different. I run my business for 4 or 5 years. That was kind of what I always did since I was 18, and I went for a farm for a year, and I was like, well, I went to school for Hitchcock Racing. I went there for a year for fabrication.
Yeah.
I wanted to pursue that. So I started putting in for applications, and one of my good friends, Brian, moved up here, and he's a mechanic for the 88. And I've talked with Thorsport before, and he said, "Well, come up for an interview." I was like, "I'm working right now. I can't really, I can't leave." He said, "Well, just come up when you can." I said, "Well, I'll be there Monday." This was like Thursday. I told my boss man, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna go up to Ohio for this opportunity. I'm gonna go do an interview. I'm gonna work all week." I said, "I don't know what's gonna happen." So I come up here for a week. They put me in the hotel and I work. And he said, "Well, this is what I can do. You want a job or not?" And I said, "Well, I got to kind of decide what I want to do at home." I go home for 2 weeks and I moved back up here after that. And I'm here as a fabricator on the 88 team with Matt Crafton, and pretty much do everything. But I try to do everything I can in the shop to learn as much as possible.
So you don't go on the road with the team or anything like that?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm on the road crew too. When I come here, I wasn't going to be on the road crew, and we needed a couple extra guys. And I told them I would like to do it, so I'm on the road crew with them too. And on the road, pretty much, we don't have a pit crew. We don't do pit crew right now, but we're actually in training for it. There's, I think, 6 or 7 races this year. We're going to have to pit crew our own team. But, yeah, I'm on the road crew kind of. We have our own little thing we do at the track, and it's go all the time, and I like it a lot. It's so much to learn.
It's a kind of a big deal. My son's involved. He's with Jeff Gordon, and it's a big deal for the people in this area to get hooked up with a race team and go off and be successful, like you're up there in Ohio with Thorsport. And how does Thorsport do that? Being in Ohio, I mean, that was my next question.
And very successful.
Very successful at it, and they're so far away from the Charlotte area.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's what my thing was too, and it's hard for them to get people up here to work. I mean, this guy's here from all over everywhere, working in the shop. I mean, we've got like 50 or 60 people total in the shop, and it's a really nice facility. And they, Dick Dodsons really put a nice team together, an operation for everybody. But it's kind of, I don't know. Yeah, I bet it's kind of hard on them to even be so far away from everything. Even parts and being right beside. I mean, the Charlotte area, you got everything right there within driving distance. And here, you're not in the middle of nowhere, but you kind of are. I mean, the town's really nice up here and nice city, but you're not in the racing world like Charlotte.
Now, how long have you been there?
2 months now, almost 3 months.
Okay, so you're new. You're new up there then, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be, I mean, you moved out of the local area, down around Roanoke Rapids, moved up there, and that's got to, that had to be a big thing, something that you had to really get into your head that you really wanted to do to move that far away to be a part of the racing. When most people think about getting into racing, they go to Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yes. It was a big step. It took me 2 weeks of back and forth of what I wanted to do. And Lewiston's not a very big town. We got one stoplight, and we got to take gassing, but it's not nothing bad really. And I knew I would regret it if I didn't do it. And I said I'm gonna do it. I'm doing it for this year, and I'm gonna see where it goes after that. And I'm gonna get this year over with. And if I stay here, or if I travel back to Charlotte, or it just depends on. I mean, you never know now where that might go.
Now, you're up there as part of a team, as a pit crew member and a fabricator for them now. Is your vision that somewhere down the line you'd like to drive again? I mean, be a regular driver or like maybe I don't know, dirt cars or back in late models or whatever?
Well, that's my ultimate goal in life. I mean, I always wanted to be a NASCAR driver since I was a kid. I mean, that's my ultimate goal. And even the dirt driver, I mean, I would love to drive for somebody besides myself. Because I mean, it's a stuff, and I always done it by myself. I never really had a lot of big sponsors or and I drove a few cars with some people here and there, but my ultimate goal is to drive for another thing, whether it be dirt or asphalt.
Now, did you like the dirt better than the asphalt stuff? You said you ran asphalt for a year?
Yeah, I ran it for a year. I like the asphalt a lot. My biggest thing with it was all day Saturday, and it's hard to find people to help you work all day, and it takes away from their life, and you got to leave at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you don't get home till 12, and a lot of people don't want to do that. That was hard on me to only have 2 or 3 guys actually dedicated to the asphalt, but there's nothing like dirt. I mean, if you run both, or the fun you have, I think you have a lot more fun driving a dirt car, but I guess some people have the same experience in asphalt too.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Well, buddy, I appreciate you spending some time with us tonight and talking with us. And I've always kept up with things going on at Clary and at Clary's with the race there. And I've talked to your dad several times, and I thought it was really cool that you got a job up there with Thor Sport Racing. And I really wanted to have you on and congratulate you on that. And good luck to you, and hope everything turns out better. Maybe someday you'll get back down this way.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank y'all for your time, too.
All right, well, we appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again real soon, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Man, that's a big jump to go from Carolina, where the heart of all the racing
I
is,
had
to
heard-
go to
I had heard through the grapevine, through some people that I know down around Clary's, that he had a hard time making that decision. And
I could certainly see that.
I mean, he had. I think he, like you said, he had a business here, and then he had all that going on there, and then he wants to be a part of racing, and
those are the tough decisions you got to make.
but then you get into a situation where everybody says if you don't go to Charlotte, you don't get into racing.
Right.
All right, he was going as far away from Charlotte as you could get. I mean, and that's got to be. There ain't nothing but one team there.
Right.
I mean, that's it. I mean, that's one team there, and 2 teams, but one operation.
But that could be a curse in one way, but then in another way be a good thing, because, like you said, they have a hard time getting crew members or guys to do that type of work because they're so far away from Charlotte.
And from what I've heard, and
those guys have been really successful being out there. What, have they won the last 3 championships?
yeah, they're a top-notch team being there.
And I don't.
But I've heard that the loyalty of his people that he's got Duke Thorson's got working for him up there, the loyalty is better there because they don't have nowhere else to go. Some of them don't have nowhere else to go.
Right.
And so, he keeps a lot of the people that he normally would have, he would keep them on a longer period of time. Mm-hmm. I talked to Frank Kimmel. This has been 2 or 3 years ago when Frank was driving the ARCA car for them.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, okay, yeah.
He had an ARCA car based out of Thor Sport Racing, and he was at the wind tunnel the same time that Phoenix was there. And I was talking to him, and he said, everything we do, we have to load up. And Toyota gets, the manufacturer gets them their time in the wind tunnel. Mm-hmm. So when it's their time to go to the wind tunnel, they got to load up everything, drive from Ohio, come down here, go to the wind tunnel, and go back. It's really weird. And but I mean, they're doing it, and they're successful at doing it. So that's. Now let's talk arena racing. We mentioned it, but we didn't get into it. That last lap of that arena race the other night was probably one of the better.
It was the most exciting.
I tell you, I mean, everybody was coming to the.
I mean, how's the chances of a 10-year-old coming out on top on all that?
I know, and he
just got. I mean, he's been fast. I mean, I'll give him that. I mean, they don't lack of anything on that car. Yep. Jason Manny's working on it. He's spotting one. He's got a ton of experience. He's won several championships and a ton of races. Being at the right place at the right time, it was exciting, and man, and I didn't realize until I went over to I went over to flag stand, which you're not supposed to do because there was so much excitement going on over there. I didn't realize they were all about to fight, but there was a bunch of it about. And then it was so funny because then 30 minutes later, we're all laughing at each. Well, they're all laughing at each other.
Most of them were.
Yeah, most of them were. But it was super exciting. Cody could have won the race. He could have won the race, but he chose to try to let Cullen Roberts win. His teammate trying to help him in points. I mean, Cody didn't need anything for points or anything like that. And then Scott Perlman spun him because he didn't want Cullen to get a freebie. And says let him go out, and those guys come back to the front, and for Cody with just a few laps to go, went to the back and then ended up second. And if it weren't for Minnie, the 10-year-old kid that won, coming down on him and just kind of hooking with him, he would have won.
That's right. He would have got by him.
And I mean, man, what a dream season. I mean, nobody has had the season that Cody has had in arena racing this year. But I will say, Jordan Woods said that he was racing against Jerry's kids. And I think Cody even said that on his speech, which I didn't make, over to the arena racing banquet at the racetrack on the rainy Saturday day there. But it was definitely a fun race.
It was really good. So a lot of interesting things took place during that race. That Scott stacking everybody up on one of the restarts.
Oh yeah, with Dylan there, and then black flagging, ended up parking him.
It was really interesting. And then
I was waiting for those two guys to explode, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I was thinking we were going to see more action than we did.
I did too, and it's so funny because I seen Scott afterwards, and he's like, the bad part is like Dylan can drive. The kid can wheel a race car. He just has a very natural ability to drive a car, and he's like, man, the bad part, I'm just so mad at him because he can drive. If he couldn't drive, it'd be different. But the kid can drive. But for some reason, those guys are just like oil and water. But Scott's been around so long, and he's won so much. And I'm not taking anything away from him. He has, and I think people get tired of dealing with him per se.
Yeah.
And I think that's some of it.
That was interesting. And then I followed you across the flag stand.
Did you?
I was behind you when you went across the flag stand.
I didn't see you.
I wasn't going across that way, but I saw you turn and go that way. And then I happened to be able just to see that things were getting pretty heated over there. So I went on and jumped over too and went over there.
And then there was no meet and greet after that because it just got out of hand and the cops shut it down. And
well, I hated that it got out of hand like it did, and
I think Ricky even announced that these idiots, and I kind of laughed about it. These idiots can't calm down or can't get under control, so we're not going to be able to have a meet and greet. And some of the fans were upset over that, and rightfully so. I understand. I mean, there's nothing. You and I take for granted sometimes and that's why I try to make it special for any kid that I meet. Yeah. And I try to make sure that I see them or talk to them. I mean, it seems not petty's not a good word, but to them, we're much bigger than what we really are.
That's exactly right.
We're nothing, but in their eyes, we're a big thing. Mm-hmm. And
if you had heard, I'm sure you may not have paid much attention to it. But as I was going down the steps, following you down the steps, I was listening to some of the people that were walking back up by me. Man, that was a great race. I mean, people really liked what they saw, but then when it all turned bad on there, they think, oh, man, that ain't right. I wanted to go down there and meet these people, meet these guys.
Right.
But I saw. But hey, that's what a lot of people like to see.
Well, they do. I mean, they used to flock to Hampton and the Scope because they wrecked and tore so much stuff up. I mean, it's kind of crazy. But congratulations to Cody Carlton, winning 16 out of 20 races. Should have been 17. I mean, just an unbelievable season. And Graham, Andy Graham, we call him Graham, or Andy, but working on the car and setting the car up, and it's a dream season. Congratulations to both of those guys. That's a heck of an accomplishment, against Scott Perlman the resources those guys, because they do have a ton of resources compared to Cody, and those guys just hit upon something and it's working.
And one thing, my biggest disappointment the other night was Camden Testament. I felt so bad for this guy. I mean,
wait a minute? Did you hear it? Did you talk to him after the race?
Yeah, I did. I know what he said. And I'm not going to even get into that right now.
I'm going to bring it up. He said he was glad he didn't make the top all race because I can't remember who the girl. Oh, it's who's the guy that runs the? Oh man, it owns Scott Perlman's car. His daughter. He was hanging around with him. But he was hanging around with him. I seen him at Saturday at the Richmond race. I come over, I said, boy, if you ever flip me over again, and we give him a hard time, which I love Camden. He's a good kid. He's like, the only reason I came is so I could see. I cannot think of Scott's car owner's name. I'm just drawing a blank.
Yeah, but
he was there. He just came to the race. He didn't care about the banquet or anything. He just came for the girls. He's at that age, But he's going dirt late model racing this year with the crate motors, and he'll have good success. Manny's helping him over there.
He's a great kid. I mean,
and they're a great family. His mom
and dad.
Mom can cook.
But she ain't cooked me nothing yet. I've sent her messages. I want something to eat.
I mean, if you follow her, she's got a fan page or Mama's Cooking or something like that.
But she can cook. I mean, they're a great family, and when he had the wreck in the A main, I was a little bummed because he was out front running pretty decent.
Was he?
Yeah, and
I was on the side of the road changing the tires.
Yeah, but I was giving you the play-by-play there a little bit. I was trying to tell you, hey, he's out front, and then he broke. And I felt really bad for him. But
it all worked out. He got to hang out with some girls.
Well, that's all that matters, I guess.
His priorities a little good. I hope that don't mess up his dirt ride now. I think his mom and daddy see he starts chasing girls too much. He might not have no dirt ride.
Race car drivers, they seem to like to do stuff like that. So anyway, but that was pretty good. It was a great last race of the arena season. I only made 3 races this year, but that was more than I made the last 2 years put together. But it was really good. Yeah. And
but we had a good time in the suite. I got you some food thanks to Johnny Rockets. I want to thank those guys all year, and Miles the Seamless Gutter, because I could not have done it honestly at all without their support and their friendship and relationships. And we got some stuff coming up. We'll announce probably in a couple of months. And then Johnny Rockets, those guys fed us and they let us use their suite all year, and that was a huge plus. And it was great to bring Miles and all their employees and come to the suite. So I really want to thank Kevin out there at Johnny Rockets for feeding us every week. And they didn't always have milkshakes this year. The crowds weren't big enough. They didn't want to make the milkshakes, but they did make them one week for us just because we always were like, man, when's the milkshakes? And, of course, everybody and their brother asked me for a milkshake. But I really want to thank those guys because without their support and we wouldn't have been able to do it.
And we're going to announce a little deal we got on the show now. Your local Pepsi distributor out of Suffolk, Virginia, are going to give us a little backup. You're going to give us a little bit of
so if you come to the show, you get a free drink.
Yeah, we give you a free drink, Pepsi, by the way.
Yeah.
But we appreciate we appreciate that. It's really great that they want to take a minute to be a part of what we do. And but anyway, it was a great weekend. I guess
off to Talladega this weekend.
Yeah, they're off to Talladega. The testing up in Indianapolis tomorrow's the open test. They had the Goodyear test the last 2 days, and the open test is tomorrow. And come back home long enough to change clothes again and head back to Talladega for next weekend. But be fun. It's gonna be a good race.
Yeah.
The new qualifying thing.
Yeah, there'll be 2 cars.
Yeah, you're gonna have 2 cars on the track, and there'll be one on one end and one on the other. And I listened to Billy Scott, the crew chief on the 55, coming down the road today, and he made the comment that it'll be just like old times qualifying now. It'll be just like watching paint dry. And
they'll go just half as fast.
Yeah, but the thing is, they said they don't want to, like Clint got into the wreck at Daytona.
I mean, I think for safety thing and all that sort of stuff, I think it's better.
So,
And I think too, with some of that pack qualifying and stuff that you had some guys that didn't have a teammate or couldn't get friends to work with to qualify that had a fast enough car. If they to qualify like normal qualifying, they would make the race.
Yeah.
And I think it will bring it more back to that, which I think is a good thing.
well, I think that it's going to be on the super speedways. That's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, I do
You
too.
just let say raw speed, and then whatever happens, happens.
Mm-hmm.
But
It'll be
don't depend on somebody else.
Right.
So.
But it'll be a good few next couple of weeks, and I think our next race we're going to try to go to is Dover.
Yes,
So
Dover.
we had to figure out and hook up with some friends out there.
And next week, hopefully, we'll be doing our Langley Speedway segment again next week.
Mhm.
We didn't have a Langley driver this week, off weekend at Langley Speedway. So next week we'll try to have a Langley section, and we appreciate Bill helping us out with that.
Yeah, and I think the K&N cars come in June
June.
20th, I think it
I
is.
don't remember the date right
I
now.
looked earlier when I was looking at Kyle Benjamin's schedule, but that's going to be a neat week to go to Langley Speedway. They had a big show last year with that.
Yeah, it was a great race.
A lot of big stars, some big names come out, and Greg Alding's going to be there with the hometown team.
Yep, and Kaz Gralla, my buddy Kaz, was the Kyle, but he's with he's not with Kyle with them. Excuse me, I made a
Ben
mistake.
Kennedy's
Ben
team.
Kennedy's team, yeah. So be good to
So,
see that again. So
I'm sure we'll probably be there for the race.
I'm planning on being there.
And that'll be good. It'll be fun. We're having a good time here on the show. So.
You want to do your thing about your book bag?
Oh yeah, forgot about that. All right, so the book bag. We had a ton of people tell us how good our show was, but John Maderas, you're the winner of the book bag. So you can either call me, email me, text me. Or maybe when you guys decide to come to the show, we'll give you this thing, but this is yours. And then this week, I kind of set this thing up here. This is I don't know what you call this thing, but it's courtesy of the Zims Foundation. Ryan Zimmerman, the first baseman of the Nationals. But the Zims Foundation has raised money to bring home a cure for MS. It's another Under Armour product. You can put all your stuff in it. I'm not sure what you would call this, but you could put a bunch of stuff in it. It retails at $50. So this week, tell us what you think about our show. Please post and like our videos on YouTube that we'll post later. But let us know what you think about our show, and we'll pick somebody else this week. Sorry, John, you can't be a winner 2 weeks in a row. But you can still tell us what you think about the show. But you can't win this week. But this will be something we'll have a winner next week for it. So, and if like last week, if you want it devalued, me and Jack will sign it, and then you could double your money on eBay. So I want to thank Zims Foundation for that. They give us quite a few little prizes that we can give away, and when we run out, they'll give us some more stuff. So we'll try to kind of each week to give something away with the Zims Foundation. And
in a couple weeks, I think I would like to see us do like a quiz. And ask a question, and then everybody during the week
answer
that. And if you get more than one, we kind of do. So we'll be looking at doing that. I'll get with Scott. We'll see what we can come up with. But for this week, tell us what you think. And
it's good quality stuff. This is Under Armour, so I mean, this is not no cheap little knick-knack thing to throw away or just put in your closet. So next week we'll have another winner. Just tell us what you think about the show, good or bad. Let us know. And please like all of our videos and watch them. So thank you guys. And thanks to Zims Foundation, Keith and Cheryl out there. And maybe, I know they got the gala coming up, and maybe I can talk to Keith and maybe get Ryan or Keith or somebody to call in, and we can talk about their golf and gala
that'd be cool.
thing to raise money for Zims Foundation.
So anyway, thanks for being with us tonight. Sorry we got a little late start, but that's the way it is in TV, I guess. But anyway, thanks a lot for being with us tonight. See you next week.
All right, thanks guys.